Hey, what's up, everybody? So, this is my fourth installment of my playoff prediction series, and in this series, we're going to talk about the Bucks versus the Heat. And I think I've already, for some reason, I feel like I've already touched in on this. Maybe in one of my more recent videos, maybe I was sitting in the dark in one of those videos or something. I might have actually touched in on this series. So, if this is a recap, um, forgive me, my memory's trash, and I actually don't really remember. I might have recorded it, might not have. So, here we go. First of all, the Milwaukee Bucks have done a fantastic job of securing Giannis Antetokounmpo, securing Drew Holiday, trading for um, PJ Tucker, putting themselves in a position to just ultimately have a strong team. You got guys like Brook Lopez playing well. Dante DiVincenzo's played well all year long, despite the botched trade that would have sent him off to Sacramento, which is still a head scratcher. But ultimately, we're looking at a Milwaukee Bucks team that's exactly where they want to be. They have all the pieces that they were hoping to get. They don't have any question marks about this offseason. They don't have any question marks about who's staying, who's going. They got everybody there. Middleton's on board. Everybody's there. So now it's just about playing basketball. For the last couple of years, it's been about can we keep Giannis? Are the Lakers, are the Knicks, are the Nuggets going to, are the Knicks going to take him? Whatever. That's been the story. You don't have to worry about none of that anymore, Milwaukee fans. Now it's just time to play basketball. And I think this is what Giannis was thinking when he signed the contract. I think this is what he was ultimately hoping for when he asked for them to go acquire Drew Holiday. And now it's just about him proving that he can do what he's supposed to do with the players that the Milwaukee Bucks have granted him and the gifts that they've provided him at his request. Now it's about, okay, we've done everything for you. Now, is this enough? You should be happy. Is this enough? And we'll see. On the other hand, you have a Miami Heat team who went to the NBA Finals last year, put on a very valiant display, but ultimately injuries kept them from having a real shot at beating my Lakers. That's what I saw. I saw a guy, Jimmy Butler, who was doing everything he could, and it just wasn't enough. But if they were fully healthy, it could have been a different series because they had so much talent in just about every position. Now they've lost some guys from that team, but the majority of that core is back and is healthy at this moment. Now, not to say that they've been healthy all year long, because we know they haven't. If you've been following the Miami Heat, they have had players going in and out of that lineup all year long for health and safety protocols, for different injuries and things of that nature. It's been a mess, and that is why they're in the position they're in. But keep that in mind. What does that mean? That means that they are not their record. That means they are significantly better than what their record shows. And going into this series, if they had had the season fully healthy, I think that most people would think Miami's a better team. Even with all that said about Milwaukee being complete, that their team is actually the vision that their front office had in mind for their team. This is what they were hoping to be. I don't think they're better than the Heat at all. I don't. I don't think that at all. I think that the Milwaukee Bucks, as good as they are simply not as talented as the Miami Heat team that we see in front of us. I think the thing that works in their favor is that the Miami Heat team hasn't had a whole lot of time together this year. That's what the problem is. But they had a whole lot of time with each other last year, and they know each other very, very well, and have had success with each other. So this is one of those situations where I honestly think that the more talented team still could probably lose. And this is why I think that. First of all, the Victor Oladipo injury situation is tough. That's tough because the Miami Heat would have loved to have Victor in this series, especially a healthy Victor. He would have helped a great deal, especially defensively. And it's been understood that the Milwaukee Bucks have had issues in the playoffs because of how the style that they've been forced to play over the years without enough shooting. Giannis has kind of been given the ball and just basically driving at the basket in straight lines and just not really giving the defense a whole lot to really have to adjust to. That's been the story with Giannis every year in the playoffs. I don't think that's going to be the story this year. Why? Drew Holiday. That's why. The dribble penetration and the defensive genius of a guy like Drew Holiday. You're not going to be able to just give the ball to Giannis, have the ball go to Giannis, I should say, and then the defense can collapse on Giannis and create walls for him. He passes out of that defense, and he's not just passing to Drew Bledsoe, or Eric Bledsoe, rather. He's not passing to guys that he can't trust. We're back in the days where he could pass the ball to a guy like Malcolm Brogdon and get something out of it. Got a guy that's even better than Malcolm Brogdon right now in the name of Drew Holiday. And Drew Holiday, he ain't coming to just play around. Drew Holiday is a Hall of Fame caliber talent. Now, he has not had a Hall of Fame caliber career as of yet. But to the T, this guy's great. He's not just good, he's great. And if you give him the ball, he can score. If you put him on the best guard, he can lock him up. So you're dealing with something when you're talking about Drew Holiday. He's healthy. He's fearless. He's one of those guys who knows himself and doesn't need a whole lot of attention. He's not one of those guys that needs anything but the ball and a player to defend. Like, he is a problem all to himself. Independent of Giannis, you have to deal with this man. I'm telling you. So I think he is going to be the reason why the Miami Heat ultimately have trouble. Even though they have more weapons, Drew Holiday and this team has been playing with each other all year long. They know one another. They've been healthy. Chris Middleton is just sitting in the corner shooting jump shots. He has some of the best shooting mechanics I've ever seen in my life. One of the most lethal scoring threats right now in the NBA. And he's like the third or fourth option. Like, you got to understand, he can drop 30 on you right now. And so it's like, I look at this Milwaukee team and I say, okay, well, let's skip around and go back to Miami. Let's talk about how great Miami is, because they are great. You got obviously Bam Adebayo, who is the next great young center in this league, in my opinion. He's simply the next great young center. You talk about guys like Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic. His name don't get mentioned, but he's been to the finals. He's one of the best defensive players in the league, one of the defensive player of the year candidates out there, one of the better rebounders in the league. He can put the ball on the floor, even though you don't look at him and say, can he score and can he create for himself? He can. Mid-range game, strong. Three-point shot, getting better every year. Inside game, fantastic. Free throw shooting, fantastic. This is a all-around great player. He can create for others. He's a really, really, really fantastic passer from the center position. Very underrated in that way. He can get you a triple-double if he has to. Like, this is a real problem. Steals the ball, as I said, one of the best defensive players in the world. Bam Adebayo is underrated. In fact, severely underrated. So, you have to deal with him. You have to deal with him. And as far as I can tell, I like Brook Lopez, but he's one of the worst rebounding centers in the league. He's terrible. It's really bad. And this is coming from somebody who watched him, who was happy with him on the team, mind you. He's a fantastic three-point shooter. But he is a center. He's extremely, extremely weak in rebounding the ball. One of the worst. So it's like you're not going to get that from him. PJ Tucker's undersized. You could throw him at Bam. Good luck. Undersized. He'll give him all he can handle, but shoot right over. So I think that's going to be the story. Can Giannis is going to be tasked with guarding Bam. Can Giannis handle Bam and still be Giannis? The answer is yes. Yes is the answer to that. I'm going to be honest. Yes. As much as I've screamed about Bam, he's not better than Giannis. Yes, defensively, Giannis should be able to create a lot of problems for Bam. He ain't going to stop Bam, but he'll definitely create problems that most players won't. So you throw Giannis on Bam, and that is what your answer is there. Okay? That's what you have to do. Now, who the hell is guarding Jimmy Butler? DiVincenzo? Middleton? I like Middleton. Middleton's a fantastic defensive player. Middleton has long arms. Maybe that's your answer. You got to put Middleton on him. You have to. Good luck. Good luck, Middleton. You're going to be sweating out there. Jimmy ain't playing. I just saw a picture of Jimmy a couple days ago. He's yoked. Crazy yoked. He's in the best shape of his life right now. And we saw what he did last year when he was tired against the Lakers. He ain't going to be tired this year. Just keep that in mind. So yeah, that Miami team going Tyler Hero. We saw the type of sauce Tyler Hero had. We saw what he could do in the playoffs and the finals. We know. There's no more questions about whether or not he's going to be a star. He just needs to continue to grow. He's still a kid, but the reality is his upside is Hall of Fame too. Scoring the ball, all this stuff. He has crazy, crazy upside. He just needs to see. We need to see what type of roles he's able to take on as his career progresses. But I think he reminds me of like a Manu Ginobili. He's just out of this world. That's what I think of that kid. And then you look at like obviously the other shooter that they have down there, in Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson is like a Klay Thompson type of guy. You can just give him the ball. You don't even need to dribble. Shoot. He could probably score 50 points just shooting threes. He's one of those. You're not going to be able to slow him down once he gets a rhythm. One of the best shooters in all of basketball. Okay? Keep it going. And you look at a guy like Goran Dragic. Goran Dragic's had a lot of injury issues. He's long in the tooth at this stage in his career. I don't expect as much out of him. But we know what type of natural ability he has. We know what type of talent he has. We know he can roll out of bed and wow you with some of his deck moves and some of his creativity with the ball in his hands. I mean, he's been able to do that since he was a rookie. So even though he's not somebody that you go into as a star anymore or somebody that you can say, okay, go get me a bucket, he's still somebody who can help you a lot, especially if he's left alone, for which he will be. So, like, Miami has all kinds of weapons, man. They got Precious Achiuwa, another big athletic center with big-time upside, volatile talent. You just don't know what you're going to get out of him, but you know at any given moment he could break out. He's on the team. He's another guy they have to deal with on the boards. So as my analysis progresses, I'm starting to understand just how many ways the Milwaukee Bucks are about to get hit. You see what I'm saying? Like, even though I said Milwaukee, at the beginning I said Milwaukee wasn't the better team. What's starting to formulate in my head is that Miami is a significantly more versatile team. And I think that that's what's going to really, really hurt the Milwaukee Bucks. It's just the endless amount of versatility that the Miami Heat are going to be able to throw at them with their roster. Now, Milwaukee is much more versatile than they used to be. They can go small more so now. Drew Holiday creates a lot for them that they can do. PJ Tucker creates some small ball lineups that they may not have been able to have in the past. They match up better this year than they would have last. But I just don't know if that's enough. If you're getting a healthy Jimmy, a healthy Bam, and a healthy Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, it's a lot of shooting. It's a lot of defense. So with all of that being said, Giannis is going to have to show the heck out. Giannis is going to have to exceed the intensity of a Jimmy Butler with his ability to affect the floor defensively and offensively as he does. If he's able to enact his will, I think there'll be some close games. I think Milwaukee will have the edge. Based on home court advantage, of course, and ultimately just based on the cohesiveness of being able to have played with your team all year long. I think that's just going to help them down the stretch in some ways that Miami may not be able to have that. So that's what I'm looking for down the stretch of games. Will Milwaukee be able to capitalize on what I believe will inevitably be Miami mistakes based on the lack of cohesiveness from all season long up until this point with the guys being in and out of the lineup? This is when cohesiveness should be your calling card. You're Milwaukee, like, hey, this team may be a little better than us, but we are definitely more used to one another than they are used to each other. So that's what I think it works in Milwaukee's favor. I got Milwaukee winning this series in 6. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think it's going to be tough. I think Drew Holiday is going to probably win them a game or two. We're going to see the type of coaching that goes on out there. The coaching situation is a very important one. Miami definitely has the edge there. So keep that in mind as well. Spoelstra's going out there. He's going, Spoelstra can tend to make things very difficult on the other coach. So that's something to think about. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I got, man. This is going to be a tough series. I could totally be wrong about a lot of stuff. One injury here, one foul trouble situation there could turn this whole series around. That's kind of how this series could be. but Milwaukee's just spent more time with one another. They are a more complete image of what their GM and their owner and their star player wanted to see out there than Miami is at this point, in my opinion. So for whatever that's worth. Anyway, my name is BDF44. That's what I got for you guys, and I'll keep them coming. I'm out.